All right, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another breakdown video. So I'm gonna give you guys the breakdown of the trade that we took this morning. We took this trade very early this morning, and we were able to catch a beautiful 450 pips over a 1-to-3 risk to reward. Beautiful trade that we took this morning. We took some sells with gold. I had two entry. I had one at 44.90, and I also had one which was the original entry at 44.87. So I did call out this trade completely for free inside our free Telegram to give you guys a little peek on what we do inside the VIP. Yesterday inside the VIP, we caught another banger trade, which was a 500 pips over a 1-to-3 risk to reward as well. This morning trade was played out for 450 pips over a 1-to-3 risk to reward. So the last 2 days, inside the VIP, we have secured over 6 risk to reward, which is over 6%, which is a beautiful way to, I think I'm going to be calling it a week since we do have already, Christmas Eve tomorrow, Christmas Day on Thursday. So I think I'm pretty much done for this entire week, and I'm glad that I was able to call out a free trade for you guys to close out the week strong. Did very nice, 450 pips in today's profit. I was able to make over $7,000. I'm going to show you guys this profit that I was able to make today, over $7,000. And as you guys can see, again, this is the account that I trade. I'm going to show you guys the results the last 2 days. So we're going to go from the 22nd. So this basically this entire week. Close it out at $8,900 in profit, which is amazing. So I'm going to give you guys the breakdown. It was very quick, very simple. It's not complicated at all. So the first thing first that we're going to go over is the original trend of the market, right? So if you guys take a look at the original trend of the market, right, with gold, we have been extremely bullish the last couple of weeks, right? Very bullish yesterday or today as well. We did end up making a new all-time highs with gold, which is coming back at 44.95. Now, what I want to explain to you guys is pretty much how the market trend always have a reversal, right? So the market always reverses three different ways. So we have the first one, which it can be touching a previous structure. Previous structure can be either a resistance that price session taps and then it has the reversal. It can be a support that price session taps and has another reversal, right? Another way that price session can reverse as well and start having pullbacks is simply that price session has either been overbought, meaning that there's a lot of buyers, which is pretty much exactly what we did this morning, right? There's a lot of buyers in the market that pretty much all of this entire traders that have been holding buys are now taking their profits, right? That's another way that the market can start reversing, meaning that the buyer volume is slowly dying off, right? So if you guys do understand the RSI pretty much gives you guys an idea when it shows that the market has been overbought, right? So pretty much once it breaks above, it gives you guys an idea that, hey, the market has been overbought. And then obviously you got to start seeing, like some bearish type of price actions to start slowly building up so you guys can actually start executing some sells, right? So overbought means that the market has been overbought. The sellers are pretty much buyers are now taking the profits, which means that the value of all of this entire buying opportunities over here, right? All of this entire buyer volumes, the volume slowly start dying off, right? So there's no longer, bullish volume, and then bearish volumes are slowly starting to kick in due to the fact that buyers have been, protecting their profits. Same scenario, vice versa, whenever it goes into selling position, right? If the market has been oversold, right, all of the traders that have been holding all of these sells are taking their profits, meaning that the market is losing volume from all of this entire sell, right? So the value is losing from this and sell, and then sellers are taking the profits, and then buyers are slowly kicking back inside, right? Very simple. Another way that the market has reversal is simply if there's a news session, right? Let's say that we are bullish, the news comes out negative or positive, right? It can either go towards the downside or it can either go towards the upside, right? So to give you guys an idea or a test very quick, today's trade that we took was simply because the market has been overbought, right? So let's just write that as a note, right? Today trade, again, like I told you guys, was not hard at all. It was very simple. So first thing first, market has been overbought, right? There was a lot of traders holding buys. Yesterday we were one of them, is that we've been taking these buy position, which played out amazing, right? Now, second thing that happened over here was that notice the pattern that the market formed right over here, right? If you guys notice this first top, this is gonna be a one top. The market dropped. We tapped once again in towards this resistance. We did see the same exact rejection. And then we also come back and then we see another rejection, another top. So all of these entire points over here, it forms a triple top, right? So all of these are all simple equal highs, right? The market is failing to continue holding all of this entire bullish volume here, right? So it's very simple market structure at this point. We do see that price action forms a resistance, and we're seeing that price is failing to continue breaking highs, right? So if it fails to continue breaking highs and we continue respecting all of these entire highs, we're building an area of resistance, right? Which is very simple. Resistance, we're looking for selling opportunities, right? So again, bullish volume, we're overbought. The market is now building a triple top. So that's going to be the second reason why, right? So we're building a triple top at 44.95, right? Triple top 44.95, and then price is failing to break past it. Boom, there you go. Now again, I trade only the New York session. So basically this morning when I woke up, going into the late London session, merging into the early New York session, once I saw that price session was pretty much failing to break above, and we saw that price session once again tapped into this one, right, which is going to be our third tap, which is this exact one. Notice how the 15-minute candle closed. We closed a perfect bearish engulfing candle, right? And inside this bearish engulfing candle, we do have a minor fair value gap, which is a bearish fair value gap. So as soon as price action build up this entire 15-minute bearish engulfing and as well a bearish fair value gap, right? So it's going to be our third confirmation, right? That was early New York session. So we're going to write 3, early NY session, price rejected major resistance. We have a 15-minute candle, 15-minute bearish candle engulf, as long as well with a 15-minute bearish fair value gaps. Very simple. Now, once we pretty much build up this next one over here, all I was simply waiting for was for price action to tap into that fair value gap and reject it, right? So if you guys come in here towards a 5-minute time frame, pretty much once I saw that price action came back to the 87, which was our original entry, right? You guys can see this is the original entry. All I simply waited for was for price action to break, retest, and close a bearish candle, which was this candle right over here. That's exactly where I entered. We rejected once, we closed underneath, boom, I entered the market at 87. This is exactly when I sent you guys the signal, right? 44.87. Now, if you guys go back here towards the signal, you guys can also see how I did say that it was a high risk. Now, the reason why it was a high risk trade was simply because the overall market trend is bullish, right? And we all understand how gold is very volatile, right? So it can either go back towards the upside or it can go the other side that we were looking for, right? So very high risk because, again, it wasn't 100% clear bearish price action, but it was showing us a lot of liquidity grab towards the upside, showing us that buyers are losing the value and sellers are slowly stepping into the market. We have market structure pattern, which is a triple top. We have rejection here, we have sell-off, we have rejection here, we have sell-off, rejection the third time, we have sell-off, right? Perfect way that we looked for. Now, going into the early as well, I had a limit set at 44.90, which was a little bit higher, which was coming into these major highs over here. Now, what I liked, right, is pretty much how the New York session opened up. Notice how the New York session 30-minute candle, which was the 8 a.m. candle, notice how that 30-minute, once we pretty much opened up, we simply grabbed liquidity. All this liquidity was grabbed from the highs, all of this entire highs from London session, and we also have the Asia session highs. All of this was being respected and price session perfectly rejected off. Our stop loss was a little bit wide due to the fact that, again, we are still trading bullish. So we kind of need space, a little bit space, right? Because imagine if we had our stop loss a little bit tight, right? Let's say that our entry was at 87 and then we had our stop loss at 97, right? Look how easily we could have gotten stopped out of this trade, right? So we got to do a little bit risk, right? We're going to move our stop loss a little bit higher. And then we did put it like 50 or 5 points extra higher than what we usually do. And as you guys can see, we instead of risking 100 points, we did end up risking 150 points, right? A little bit wide, which was a perfect way. We came back, liquidity swept all of these entire highs over here, and we closed underneath. Now our entry, once again, we're sitting at 44.90, which was above all of these entire highs, right? Very nice. And then as you guys can see, we got active our second entry. We swept all of these entire highs over here from the London session, from the Asian session, and then we started perfectly selling off, right? And if you guys go over here towards the 15-minute time frame, you guys can clearly see how price session we did end up breaking underneath all of this entire triple top neckline, which is the idea sessions, right? Now our final take profit was going to be set exactly at this bullish fair value gap right over here. This is exactly where our take profit was, at this exact 1 hour bullish fair value gap, and which it did end up playing out for a 1-3 risk to reward. So very simple trade. We took the trade because, again, market has been overbought. We were losing bullish volume, right? The value of the bullish market was slowly dying. We had early New York session price rejecting all of this entire highs over here. We also closed a 15-minute bearish engulfing candle with a 15-minute bearish fair value gap as well. New York session, we rejected all of those entire highs and we perfectly closed underneath. If this 30-minute candle here, right, let me give you guys a vice versa. If this 30-minute candle would have pretty much breaking and closed above the 44.99 to the 4,500, then yes, at this point over here, this is exactly where I would have managed my risk, would have closed out this position and start waiting for better price session. Because again, remember, again, keep in mind, this is all risky trade because the major trend at this point over here is bullish. So if price session would have break a structure above all of these entire highs, all we were simply waiting for was for price session to retest to then continue pushing the market back higher, right? But we got a very nice 30-minute candle rejection, which was an extra confirmation for us to continue holding this trade. And as you guys can see, history talks. We did end up hitting every single take profit, closing out the day at $7,000 in profit, 450 pips at a 1-3 risk to reward. So beautiful trade, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this trade. I hope you guys made a lot of money with this trade. It was our early Christmas gift for you guys. We did end up closing out the week very nice with just 2 simple trade. Very excited to see what the next year has for us, right? Very excited to be sending out more free signal to you guys. Keep giving you guys more education, and we're going to continue growing as a team. So I'm pretty much done for this week. I might be looking at the market left and right, but again, since we are coming to the holidays, right? Obviously, we do want to enjoy those holidays and just take a rest from the market, right? We've been having a great years, so it's not really much that we can do at this point, right? But if we're looking at today's, we're gonna simply see what happens over here, because we did reject off the 1 hour, fair value gap here, or the 1 hour bullish fair value gap right over here. We're pretty much coming back to retest this, broken structure from a bearish market. So we're gonna see if price session does reject, and if it does reject and builds up bearish price session, then maybe we can take another trade. But if I do take another trade, it's gonna be sent only inside the VIP. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next one.